Hello everyone, this is Timothy Mark with Alexandria.
How's everybody doing today?
And we are Tickle Trunk of Horrors. The website is tickletrunkofhorrors.com. The Gmail is tickletrunkofhorrors@gmail.com. And we are also a World Paranormal Research Society. We'd like to invite everybody to join our YouTube channel, which is what you're probably watching this on right now, which is if you could subscribe to the channel, that would be great. If you like the podcast, hit the like button. That theme song was by Ryan Duttery out of the UK. And today we have two special guests. You can help me with the names here. One's Willow Le Mechant.
Yes.
And the other one is Otter
Campbell.
Otter Campbell. And Willow runs the Nola.
They're actually co-founders of Dark Nola Paranormal.
They're co-founders of Dark Nola. They both co-founded Dark Nola Paranormal.
And they're both spiritual mediums as well.
I thought they were psychic mediums.
Psychic mediums, spiritual mediums, same terminology, just a different way to say it.
Okay. So yeah, they're both psychic mediums. They're both co-founders of Dark Nola Paranormal out of New Orleans. That's what NOLA stands for. New Orleans, Louisiana, there. And then you have Otter actually runs a bed and breakfast in New Orleans.
She'll be talking about the haunted bed and breakfast, so that'll be very interesting. And Dark Nola Paranormal sort of just started with their own YouTube channel, so it'll be really interesting to hear their adventures and what they're going to anticipate doing in the near future. So very exciting to have both Willow and Otter joining us on the show today.
Correct. But before we get into today's topic with Willow and Otter, what we want to talk about is what's going on in the Catholic Church with these Catholic priest pedophiles molesting children. According to the New York Times, there was over 1,000 children that I guess that they can use in cases that have been molested throughout the Catholic Church. I think in the state of Pennsylvania. But they estimate over the years there being as high as 10,000 children that have been molested. So yeah.
The thing that bothers me about that is that they're really saying that now there's probably tens of thousands of children, and the sad reality I heard on one particular newscast is the Pope knew about this in advance, and I really have nothing good to say about Pope Francis to allow, or he's the head of the Catholic Church, so ultimately in my mind he is responsible. And this is just in Pennsylvania, folks. We all know that in Canada there's been a huge problem with residential schools and priests and nuns abusing girls and boys, and I mean, I'm sure the cases are into the millions, but I really can't even wrap my head around how these Catholic priests can get away with this. And a lot of them, there are detailed records where the bishop knew all about it. There were secret files that only the bishop had access to. So what they would do, or the way the Catholic Church handles this, is that they would just shuffle their priests around from parish to parish. So there was really no punishment, no reprimand in regards to abusing these children. And I mean, it is a criminal offense. I don't care if you're a priest, a pope, or a nun. You should be charged according to the law, just like everybody else is.
Well, as early as the 1940s, American friar Gerald Fitzgerald founded the Congregation of the Servants of the Paraclete, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And that's a religious order that treats Roman Catholic priests who struggle with personal difficulties such as substance abuse and sexual misconduct. So these people do not think that these priests should be prosecuted in any sort of way. As early as the 1940s, they have a special little place for them. And the guy, Fitzgerald, that founded this organization said that these priests should not be returned back to priesthood, because they were unlikely to to stop their behavior. And one of the most interesting notes that I learned while researching this topic is when you go back to the 20th century and early 21st centuries, it talks about child sex abuse cases not only by priests but also by nuns, which you hardly hear about the things about nuns at all, but you always hear about it through the priests.
And I really have a problem because really the Pope is still being silent about the damning sex abuse report, and really this recent crisis, in my mind, really represents a real crucial test for Francis's papacy, and which has really stumbled badly at times to address sexual abuse among the clergy, and he has really screwed up this time. And really a lot of Catholics around the world are worried that the Pope's ability to serve as a moral witness for the world could be compromised should he fail to act decisively. And in my mind, he has failed in every way as the leader of the Catholic Church to address this concern. And to put it into perspective, in my opinion, really the clock is ticking for everybody in the Catholic Church leadership. They're a time bomb in regards to their followers losing faith with the leadership.
Well, it's not just that they're failing to really do anything about it and have been for a long time. It's they just don't care about it. You got to realize that there's 7 billion people on the planet. I think it's estimated 1 billion of them is Catholic in some way, form, or another, either Orthodox or whatever. And so 1/7 of the world's population is Catholic. And so it's a money-making business. A lot of the Catholics that I've talked to don't even realize what their belief is. They just show up for church, and that's not our call, because that's a 512 number. But so here's the thing that I would like to say to people is, whenever you have an organization that has 1/7 of the world's population up underneath them, then what you're really doing is you're all about power, greed, and money, and they're not doing the right thing. And what I was getting at before, when people don't recognize the belief system of the Catholic Church, these people believe that God was Jesus. They didn't believe that he was the Son of God, which is said in the Bible. And being the Son of God, of course, he would be part of God, but they believe that he was actually God, and so that goes against the Jesus teaching completely. And that's why there's a lot of questions: is Catholics even Christian? And Catholicism differs a lot with traditional Christianity anyway, but there is other religious organizations that do believe that Jesus is God, and Jesus never claimed to be God. Let's understand that. And people misunderstand a lot of the Bible quotes, Bible verses, and what they don't realize is that in the Bible they only use the King James Version, which was created in the 1600s by King James. And so there was many other translations of the Bible prior to the King James Version Bible. So people use that one. They want to live and die by it. There's one verse in there that's been twisted, and but there's 100 of them that differ the two, and there's only one that can be manipulated to saying something different.
The part that really bothers me about these particular internal documents, that includes 6 Catholic dioceses in Pennsylvania, is this bishop had the key to the secret archives, and really these secret archives showed that there was more than 300 predator priests who had been credibly accused of sexual abusing more than 1,000 child victims. So the bishop knew that he was overseeing over 300 predator priests, because he had access to these internal documents in a secret archive which only he had the key. So actually, in my mind, this bishop should be held accountable for not preventing the abuse of all these children.
Where they're not preventing anything. They're actually, by not giving severe punishment for being pedophiles. Whenever they have a group of priests that think that it's okay to be pedophiles because they don't fear prosecution, and they just think that they're going to go to this little resort area that the Catholic Church runs and they're going to live there. I mean, you have a big problem when you're employing a bunch, and it is employing, by the way. I mean, these are jobs for these people. They make money. The Catholic Church is set up so that everybody makes money. Okay, I believe this would be our guest. So hold on for 1 second. Hello, welcome to the Tickle Trunk of Horrors show.
Hey, what's going on? How you doing?
Good, how are you?
There's thunder and lightning. We're in the middle of a big thunderstorm.
Oh wow, y'all having a big storm over there in New Orleans. That's awesome.
The power went out, so it's really, really dark.
Oh man, that must be really nice there right now.
Yeah.
There's probably, if your power went out, that means your AC went out, right?
Yep.
Oh, that's not so nice, but I'm glad y'all were still able to call, and we just did an introduction to the haunted bed and breakfast and to the dark Nola Paranormal. If you would, could we start off with the bed and breakfast and maybe you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I'll go ahead and tell you about that. Hey, the bed and breakfast. What do you want to know? I've been living here for about 20 years. I bought it in 1999, and the first thing I saw when I came through the front door the first time was a angry poltergeist running at me, dressed in a nun's habit, and I wondered what the hell she was so mad about.
Wow.
But yeah, it didn't seem strange that I wasn't afraid until I looked back on it, and then I thought, why wasn't I afraid of a screaming, angry ghost that I could see? Because I usually don't see them. I usually just feel them and get images, but she turned out to be one hell of a poltergeist, and she's been busy haunting this house along with many others all this time. She made a couple of guys go crazy, but like two of my roommates left the room that's now my office, straight from that room to the mental hospital.
Wow.
They never told me what was going on until after they moved out, so I could have told them, no, you're not insane, you're being poltergeisted. But anyway, I think I have her subdued at this point. I proved to her that my ancestors will come and force her to leave. She knows that's possible, so now she's behaving herself. But she's been coming out and chatting with us quite a bit lately.
Could you maybe, to some of our listeners that may not know, what brought really you and Willow together? Like, what made you kind of meet up and kind of team up into this sort of paranormal dynamic duel?
Well, here in New Orleans, there's a lot of psychic readers out on Jackson Square, and that's how we first met. I walked around the square looking for a place to do my phone reading, and some of the readers looked kind of, I don't know, messy or something, you know. I didn't want to get involved too closely with anyone, but then I saw Willow, and she was all professional and serene, and her setup was real professional, and I was like, oh, this looks like a nice place to set up. So then after that, whenever I would come to read phones, I would set up next to Willow, and then crazy people stay out of your bubble over her. So I sort of crept under the edge of her bubble.
Could you maybe, like, I'm a rune reader, could you maybe explain to our listeners what a bone reader is? A lot of these people may not be familiar with the terminology of a bone reader.
Yeah, it's awareness of bone reading is raising up in the States now, but historically, just about every indigenous culture has some form of bone reading. This particular form originated in the Congo of Africa, and it varies from the ancient way because in the Congo they use all the bones from one animal, but the religion changed a lot through slavery in the United States, and the method I use is a hoodoo method, and we use various objects, bones from different animals, plus shells and coins and doll parts and dice and stuff like that. A key I have in there. And each bone has, they're all called bones even if they're not really bones, just for the sake of argument. Each bone has a meaning, and the client chooses the bones from the bag of bones and throws them on a skin. And traditionally it's a goat skin, but I use an otter skin. And so the bone has a meaning, and where it falls has a meaning, and how it falls in relation to the other bones has a meaning. And then there is the mediumship coming in, where we pray to their ancestors before we commence, and the ancestors speak through me. They give me images, names, physical sensations, emotions. A lot of times I'll get like a little movie clip, and it tells me a whole bunch about what I'm seeing on the scan. So it's a combination of interpreting the bones and mediumship.
Let me shoot back for a minute, because I don't feel like we were on the bed and breakfast long enough. The bed and breakfast, can you describe it for the people listening, and tell us, like, for the people that stay there, like, what kind of breakfast do you serve and things of that nature?
Well, I'm really just an Airbnb. I have this big old Victorian house. I've got 5 rental rooms, and I don't feed them breakfast. It's an Airbnb, which doesn't really have anything to do with breakfast. And I just thought it was an amusing title, The Dead and Breakfast. So I don't feed them breakfast, but I do have 2 kitchens, well, 3 kitchens in the house that they're welcome to cook in and visit in, and they can bring their mama and them over here and make a big dinner and sit around the table, and that's fine.
So it's called the Haunted Airbnb?
Yeah, well, it's called Miss Otter's Bed and Breakfast.
Oh, Otter's Bed and Breakfast.
You can find me on the Airbnb site.
Okay, I got you.
So, I've been doing it for a long time, about 5.5 years now, and since we started doing the paranormal investigations in the house, and I changed the title when we started doing I was just a regular Airbnb listing, and then when we started doing the paranormal investigations in the house, I started calling it the Dead and Breakfast. So that's a pretty new title, but I have noticed that it catches people's eye. A lot of people that come to visit New Orleans are interested in the dead and, African-style religions and stuff like that. So I sell a lot of bone readings and paranormal investigation tickets by changing the title, and I'm attracting the kind of people that are attracted to that, which is nice.
Right. And prior to you purchasing the residence, did you do some historical research on the property? Because just thinking New Orleans, I mean, every house there is over 100 years old. And did you find any interesting facts when you did the research?
Yes. I was working with an architectural historian to do some renovations on the outside, because they used to have porches and they're all gone. So I learned a lot about the origins of the house. It had a twin next door that was gone when I purchased the house, but it had an identical house next to it. They were built by 2 brothers who also haunt this house. They were German brothers, Harry and Eric.
Wow.
And Sister Mary told us a whole bunch of stuff about what happened with that. She She was an orphan that was adopted by the orphanage across the street that was run by the Marionite. And she eventually became a Marionite nun. But then she left the order because she fell in love with Eric, who lived across the street in the house that's not there anymore. And what she has told us, Willow and I, is that Harry, Eric's brother, who lived in this house, raped her and then killed her, and she told us that her body is still here on this property, and that is why the three of them are still haunting this place.
Wow. So, do you, just I know we've covered a bit about the bed and breakfast, do you still do readings side by side with Willow? Or you're sort of, do you do it on a regular basis with her?
Oh, yes. We do paranormal investigations regularly here, and we still work on the square together from time to time. And whenever we do the paranormal investigations, unlike other teams, we also offer tarot to consult with their ancestral and guardian spirits, and a seance, and a bone reading, which is the best tool that I have to communicate with the dead.
So really,
the technical equipment.
So really, Dark Nola Paranormal really sets themselves apart from other teams, because you're just not offering a paranormal investigation, you're offering a whole package.
Yeah, we are. We offer the seance to open up the door or the veil to the other side, so we invite all spirits that are of good intent, love, and light to come through first.
Right.
And once I generally open that up, and then once we see enough spirits coming through, then we open it up to the guests to choose. If they wanted a bone reading, they can do it that way. If they want the intuitive spirit reading with the cards, then we do it that way. So they get that choice. But what sets everybody sets us apart from everyone else isn't just that, but we actually take our guests and teach them how to be paranormal investigators.
So you are so when you say that, let me elaborate on that point. You teach them. What equipment do you use, and do you let the participants use some of the equipment?
Yes, we do. So the beginning of the investigation, we show them how each piece of equipment works. We have a millimeter, we have an SB7 and an SB11 spirit box. We have also a ghost detector, which is like a K2 meter. We have divining rods. We have several digital voice recorders. We have an EM pump. We have the laser grid. So we have several pieces that we use. And video cameras. Oh, and definitely video cameras with infrared. So we're using all of it, and we let them have hands-on. So we'll show them, and we'll offer, do you want to try this yourself? And several do, especially like during the EVP sessions, we let them, like, we'll have several recorders out, and we'll give each, like, couple of people a digital voice recorder. And then when we do, like, a 5-minute EVP session, we have them listen through earphones to see what they can hear, to see if they can capture anything that may have come through. They're actually learning how to review evidence as well.
Hey, Willow.
And then the guests, if they stay overnight at the Airbnb, they have the option to keep some of the equipment in their rooms and work with it overnight.
Hey, Willow, the question I have, because we use a SB11 as well, and on the SB11, what's different from the SB11 to the SB7 is that you can run the AM and FM sweeps simultaneously. Do you find that doing that is better than just running it individually?
Actually, we're having issues with that. We're finding that the SB7, using it singularly, is working better. We run it on FM reverse sweep at about 150 rate, and that is where they come through the easiest. We've tried the SB11, and it's good, but it's harder to hear the responses.
Yeah, I'm not too thrilled with the SB11 either. And you're saying you run yours on FM at 150 reverse and you catching it?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, the SB11 doesn't seem to work as good as the SB7 for sure.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's just because of the sound quality. I'm not really sure. We find that it works better if we only run it on half of it, like only run it like an SB7. But when we run it with the SB11, both sides going AM, FM, reverse, all that, we're having really not a whole lot of response.
Yeah, that's been our problem as well. So I was just curious if y'all run into the same problem.
I think, you know, listening to what you're saying, how you're describing it, and what your tour offers, like, to me, like, I have never heard of a tour or an experience. To me, this is a whole paranormal experience that you're really expanding the horizons of everybody that wants to participate in. I mean, I just wish that when we were in New Orleans, somebody had offered that package to us, because I'm telling you, that's just like hitting the paranormal gold mine. Like, I mean, you got everything in a nutshell and then some.
Yeah, well, when Willow came to me, I had to ask my godfather, who was a priest of leukemia and Egbe, if it would be okay, because the foundation of the religion is based on ancestor reverence and ancestor worship. And so playing around with the dead, you know, I couldn't make it like a party trick, you know. So a traditional, the kind of typical investigation that we would not have, it wouldn't have been kosher for me to perform it that way. And we got to talking, and even though we have different spiritual backgrounds, Willow and I have a very similar attitude about paranormal investigation, and we acknowledge that each person has spirits that walk with them, guardian spirits and especially ancestral spirits. And that's what inspired us to structure it the way we do, with opening with the seance and then prayer to the ancestors, and raising that kind of awareness with our clients, so it's not just a party trick, and it's not just spooky ghosts. Like these are people, and we have to respect them, and that's what. And then the, you know, with the spirit box, you can get sometimes you can get bits of language coming through, and that's why we started using the Ouija board, because we can get a lot more specific information from the dead. But even with the spirit box, when we've been using that, it works really well after we've done the seance, because we've even had some of their deceased loved ones come through on it, because we've opened it up and invited them specifically in to connect.
Yeah, one of the reasons why we wanted to have y'all on the show is because we want to link y'all up to as many people as we can, as far as who to go to. Because when we went to New Orleans, there was a lot of scam artists out there running tours and things of that nature, and they didn't even know what they were talking about. And so we want to get people in touch with real investigators, real people. And that's why it's important that people know who y'all are.
Oh, thank you. That's awesome.
So,
and we appreciate this opportunity very much.
Oh, no, we appreciate you joining the show. I got a question for you, Willow. Are you still doing the wedding ceremonies?
Oh, totally. I have two that I'm officiating, of course, in October. Very excited about that. We're doing, I have one of my sisters and brother of favorite shoes are getting married. I'm going to be doing their dayside. That's kind of fun. I'm going to be doing that in the cemetery here. I'm not going to give the exact location, but that's coming up on the 30th of October. And I have another couple that are dear friends of mine, and I'm going to be doing theirs on the 13th of October. So totally still doing weddings. And I'm also going to be doing just tarot reading for another friend of mine her and her fiance are getting married, and they're actually going to be having their reception at one of the movie studios over by Slidell. And one of the sets is a fortune teller booth, and so I'll be doing tarot readings in there for them. So a lot of fun coming up with weddings.
Awesome. And you know, I have to say that I was looking on Dark Nola Paranormal Facebook, and I just really am very impressed with your rack cards, how professional they are, and I'm very, very impressed with how you've laid it out. It's just amazing where it says Black Rose Tours and Paranormal Adventurers. I just love them.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and we also got some posters made up too. So the posters are for the Airbnb, for the bed and breakfast. So we'll have those hanging up for the guests so that they can also see what's going on if they don't already know. But yeah, we're really excited about the different pieces of media now that we're going to have to really start to advertise.
And Willow's been the one doing all the artwork and composition and stuff. I'm kind of tech-tarted.
Well, I kind of cheat because I'm using, VistaPrint with their own, their templates. But, it is what it is. What you got to work with, you work with.
But, you've really turned it to a point, because I know, let's face it, people really don't like to read lengthy things, and I think the way you've laid it out is you say what you need to say, and it's visually pleasing and it's eye-catching, and I think you'll catch a lot of people by just how you have the layout for the posters and the rack cards, and it oozes class, and I think it really sets you apart from everybody else that's in the paranormal game.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, my first degree is actually from college, is in marketing and advertising. So I try to really work with more white space, not too cluttery, and only a couple of fonts, not too crazy. And so I'm really kind of conscious about that.
Right.
So, yeah, so I try to remember everything I learned when I was younger in college, but I guess it's working for me.
Yeah, it's visually pleasing, and I kind of want to jump now because I know on your new YouTube channel, and later before we end the podcast, I'll let you tell everybody what the YouTube channel is. You've done a Ouija board session. How do you find working with a Ouija board? Because I know there's a lot of people that refuse to use it. Some people do. What are your thoughts on using the Ouija board?
Well, at first, I hadn't really used it in many years. I think before that time that you see the video, I think the last time I used it was back in the 1990s, late 1990s. However, I know that between Otter and I, we know how to protect ourselves when we're using it. Not everybody knows.
Right.
I don't recommend for the everyday person that doesn't know how to create a protective space, use it. We also know how to clear a space should anything negative come through. We know how to clear any guests if anything were to come through, if they're afraid taking anything home. We make sure that doesn't happen.
Right.
So that's the difference. So I find that it has been very interesting, especially two mediums working it at the same time.
Oh my God, that was just a Mary story. Mind-blowing.
It was. And we have actually got that on video. I haven't got it uploaded yet.
Wow.
Let me ask you a question. Out of all the,
we're planning big things. We're gonna use the theater that I have here behind the haunted Airbnb, which will be reopening as a regular theater soon. But we're also going to make it our television studio and do very varied live performance television show around the paranormal stuff. We're going to call it Nola After Dark.
So you said you own a theater as well that you're going to reopen?
Yep.
Wow.
Premise of the of the Airbnb. It's a different building on the same property. It's called the Backyard Ballroom Theater. And we'll be doing Nola after dark in there in front of a live audience with only parts of it taped and parts of it live. But that whole show, the taped parts and the live parts, will be available on our YouTube station.
Yeah, that's awesome. Let me ask you this: out of all the Ouija boards out there to choose from, what would you recommend if somebody was wanting to get a Ouija board? What one would you recommend people using?
I get questions like this a lot about things like this. I look at it like if you take two carpenters and you give this carpenter this box of these tools and the other carpenter another box of different tools, a skilled carpenter will be able to make the same thing for you, regardless of if it's an electric saw or a hand saw, or like with Willow's tarot readings and my phone readings, we're different mediums using different tools, but we're doing the same thing. So that, I think if you painted a Ouija board onto a tabletop, it would work just as well. Or the cheap party game one would work just as well as a really ornate, gorgeous art one. Of course, we want to have the gorgeous art one, but I don't think that's what makes it. We don't have that now. But I think I'm going to paint one onto a tabletop for the new Botanica that we're opening, Ile Ashe, House of Power, which will be in the front of the B&B building. We'll be offering Ouija board sessions there in the Botanica after hours also.
Wow. What I really like about both of you is that when you speak, you always speak of people being, or yourselves being, properly protected. And I think a lot of people have to understand that if you really don't know what you're doing or what you're playing with, you really shouldn't do it. And I get that from both of you, that you like to stress that this isn't a movie, it's not a game, this is real life.
Right. And the other thing that we try to explain to our guests and that we teach them is the Ouija board is old school technology. But if you use a spirit box like the SC7 or SC11, it's doing the same thing, and we are still opening that channel to the other side. It just is a different way for the spirits to connect with us or to speak to us. And so it's just, some people can't work with a Ouija board, maybe because they don't believe it's going to happen, or they're so afraid of it that it's good for them, but yet maybe one of those spirit boxes that you can purchase works just fine for them. So I think it's just, we call the spirit box the modern day Ouija board.
Right. So, pardon me, it's just that everybody has different tools that maybe they prefer, and it all comes down to the operator of the tools.
Right, exactly.
And I mean, we could have the biggest power tool in the garden shed, but if we don't know how to operate it, we're going to really cut ourselves up. I mean, that's the way I kind of use it when I explain it to people, that I mean, it's nice to have these shiny tools and badass and most expensive, but if you don't know how to operate it, what's the point?
Exactly. Yeah.
And if you're highly skilled, you could use a hand tool to get the job done just as well.
That's right. And now that we're talking about tools and even protection method, Willow, I would like you to tell everybody out there about your special Florida water, because I'm a huge fan of Florida water as a form of protection.
I'm sorry, Alexandria, you cut out. We're having issues with the storm causing issues with the connection.
No worries. I had just asked if you could maybe tell our listeners about your special Florida water, because I'm a huge fan of using Florida water as a protective medium. Could you kind of tell our listeners about the special Florida water that you offer and how they can get it?
Actually, Otter helped me create this special blend.
Awesome.
Of Florida water. So she has her own special blend. We just add a protective herb to it and some other things that help banish negative spirits.
Wow.
So it helps have a tool that if we can't get to somebody's home, for instance, maybe it's across the country, but they're having major issues with maybe a haunting or some really negative energies in their house, we can send this to them and they can actually use this to, clear their home, clear themselves from whatever is, bothering them.
Yeah, Alexandria, she ordered us some, and so when we get it, we're going to do a review on it for sure.
We're going to do a video review for you on your the special Florida water. I'm really excited to receive it, and I know that it's going to be top notch and top of the market for sure.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I think you might like my little new sticker. It's Spirits Be Gone.
Well, that's all you need to say. That says it all. I mean, why put more than you need to? More is always less.
And when we don't just sell it with just the spray, I also have complete clearing kits and blessing kits. And once we have our Botanica open, we're going to be selling all those out of there as well, and we can also ship them.
Wow. So for right now, the listeners, how can they get their hands on this hot merchandise? How can they get it?
Well, they can contact me through willowlemechant.com. You can text me. The number to text is 504-917. I'm sorry, my number. Let me look real quick. 717-9409. Sorry. 504-717-9409. I don't call myself enough.
we never call ourselves.
Right?
So, I was wondering, for the people listening, because I'm going to put this together with a little bit of a picture video with it, and I was wondering if maybe we could get a picture of the bed and breakfast and the theater, maybe, to put in the video.
Sure. We can do that. I do have pictures of the rooms here. We have pictures of on Nola Paranormal. I think we also have some photos. You might just be able to click on them and get those. But it's the pictures of the bed and breakfast.
Right.
Google Otter bed and breakfast. And just Google Otter bed and breakfast Airbnb, and there's lots of photos there as well.
Awesome. And I just wanted to, is the bed and breakfast located in the French Quarter for those that are wanting to stay there?
It's 1 mile from the French Quarter, right on a main street on
Okay.
St. Claude.
Okay.
88 bus line.
Okay, yeah.
But driving, lots of on-street parking available. So it's like a $7 Uber ride from the French Quarter.
Yeah, because I found when we went to New Orleans, it's just to try and find parking in the French Quarter, forget it. And, it's just,
Right.
I think it's even it's an advantage to you not to be situated there because it's more accessible for anybody that wants to pop in.
Yeah, don't just come and stay by me. I've got plenty of parking.
Oh, awesome. Willow, could you really maybe tell our listeners more about your Dark Nola Paranormal YouTube channel? Because that's something new as well.
It is, I'm not going to tell you I'm the most technologically advanced person. Actually, I got one video up there, and it's the Ouija board, the first one we did here. But we do have one. It's brand new. We have a few subscribers. We're really hoping to get more subscribers, share it, get it out there. It's just called Dark Nola Paranormal on YouTube.
Right.
And we're going to have more of our investigation videos up there. We will also have that variety show that we talked about, Nola After Dark. We'll have that up there as well. So we get that going here in the next couple of months. We're doing some beautiful renovations on the building coming up here. New porches on the front, new paint job is going to be beautiful. Very excited. It's still going to be spooky inside. But yeah, Dark Nola Paranormal on YouTube.
Awesome. And I was even on your Facebook for Dark Nola Paranormal. I really got a kick on how you did your before video, and I thought that was very enticing and very put it on a personal level for everybody wanting to. I think it was before the investigation. You did a little improv video, and I thought that was a nice, classy touch.
Yeah, you know, nobody had actually gotten to see inside unless they came here and did an investigation, and I really wanted them to see how really cool this place is, and then I did put up the different rooms because we had a lot of guests that night, but we still always keep a couple of rooms open to investigate. We still always have hallways to investigate as well. The upstairs kitchen is got so much old world character. It's people just love it. The old hardwood floors, so it's really neat. So we do always have some rooms open, but that's why I posted the photos along with the video so that they could see the insides of those rooms that we couldn't get into.
Wow. And I noticed too on the Dark Nola Paranormal, you have a picture talking about bone readings with Otter Campbell, and she's dressed up, and I may not be saying it correctly, but she almost seems like she's dressed, she's all in white, but somebody may be looking at that. Is that almost sort of voodoo, hoodoo type of attire? Or maybe explain that for people that are not sure what that is.
My godfather is initiated in Macumba first when he was a child, which is a Afro-Brazilian religion, and then later he became a priest of Santeria, and now he has just returned from Africa as a priest of Egbe, and I've been studying under him for about 25 years, and in all those African religions, unless you're wearing the specific colors of a specific saint for a specific reason, you should wear white when you do religious and spiritual work. And for me, even though it might be a party trick for some people or a tour for some people, when I'm doing paranormal investigation, it is an act of ancestor reverence and a religious experience, and so I must wear white.
That, you know, I'm glad you explained it, because I know a lot of people, even myself, may not have known why you were wearing white, and I'm glad you've explained it so beautifully, and it gives everybody an insight on why you are wearing white, and they're not thinking that it's just a party trick or it's just something that is cool in the hot weather in New Orleans. But thank you very much for explaining that.
Well, I do have a very deep respect for the spirits that we're communicating with, and for, I mean, everyone ought to respect all the spirits, lost or otherwise, and yeah, I definitely take it very seriously, and I would hate to need the disapproval of my godfather if he caught me wearing vertical stripes during the ceremony. He would have me.
What's the worst paranormal experience that either one of y'all have had?
Ooh, the worst one I've had.
Oh. Night terror. Yeah. Getting pinned to the bed by a malevolent spirit is definitely the worst. But it did not happen in this house. Sweet. It did, however, happen when Sister Mary was running around unchecked. She doesn't like drunk men, and now that she told us about her history with Harry, who raped and murdered her and her unborn child, I definitely understand why she doesn't like drunk men.
Right. Wow. That's pretty intense.
For me, wow. The hardest, the worst, I would say night terrors. Waking up, I had, actually recently, I had a spirit, I have a poltergeist in my house too that doesn't like my cat.
Right.
And she started showing up when I had a flood that happened a few months ago, and her name is Lucy. Mm-hmm. And Lucy does not believe cats belong in the house. So one of her first things was to open my front door and let my cats out.
Wow.
And so I thought I had cleared her out, but we do, I've done a lot of seances in my home, so basically there's still portals there. So I can kick her out, but she'll come back in.
Right.
And about a week ago, I woke up in tears because I felt, it was a night terror, completely night terror. I know it was her that did it. I was shown that I was being taken over by this negative spirit, and I woke up looking for my cat because in this nightmare, this night terror, she showed my poor cats in a pile that I had stabbed them all and killed them all, and there was blood everywhere.
Oh,
I woke
God.
up preaching, oh my God. So, and I woke up and grabbed my special spray, my Thirsty Gone spray, and I started spraying. Even my poor kittens that are in a little kennel, they were meowing and pitifully. So I went in, cleared their area, cleared my bedrooms, sprayed all my cats and myself, and then I could have a good night's sleep. But yeah, night terrors are the worst because we drop our walls down when we're asleep, and when you do that, they come in so easily.
Right. And you know what? I noticed in the stores that there's already Halloween candy, and I noticed on your Facebook page that you're now booking for your 3 Halloween paranormal investigations. So it's never too early to advertise for Halloween. Again, how can people, they say space is limited for those investigations. So is it best that they call you or book through your website? What would you prefer?
For those special events, they need to call Black Rose Tours.
Right.
And that number is 504-655-3064.
Right.
We have 3 of those dates that are going to be open. We're going to start on the October 25th, which is Thursday night before Halloween. We're going to do a 3-hour investigation here.
Right.
It will be starting around 10:30 at night. Anybody that is an endless night vampire ball ticket holder, we are offering a discount, so they need to call so that we can give them their special code.
Right.
Okay, they're gonna save 20% on the investigation. That those tickets are $75 for the first night. The other 2 nights are going to be Monday the 29th. We're going to be doing an overnight investigation here. We're going to start at 9. We're going to go till about 4:30 in the morning.
Right.
So we're going to be here during the witching hour of 3 a.m. So I'm really excited about that.
Right.
And we're going to do it again on Halloween night on October 31st. So totally, if people want to join us, the limited space is 15 people. We're only going to do 15 guests for this because we don't want it to be overly packed and not get anything.
Right.
When we have people, we get a lot better results.
Hey, Otter, can I ask you a question about the theater that you have? We're going to be coming to New Orleans soon, and we'd like to try to see if maybe you were interested in doing a joint thing with like a paranormal / horror convention.
Absolutely. That sounds like joy and yes.
So I know a bunch of people in the horror industry that I can send them an invitation and see if they might show up, and we can talk about it later on, maybe getting something going.
Yeah, let's powwow about that. Let's do this.
Okay, awesome. We're going to ask you the same question that we asked our last guest on here. For people that's new to New Orleans and people who's been to New Orleans before and haven't liked the food, what's the best place there to eat?
Oh, that's not fair. We are lousy with wonderful restaurants. That's right in the middle. Now you got to give us some specifics.
Well, we spent a week there, and
restaurants are expensive, or you can go totally decadent over the top and have a 6-course meal.
Well, like good gumbo.
My favorite place is actually Oceana Grill. It's kind of in the middle price range. They have the best crab cakes I've ever had. Here in the Bywater, we have a lot of wonderful restaurants.
Probably my all-time favorite is the joint. It says always smoking.
Oh, that's good.
Right.
It was on the Anthony Bourdain show twice.
Wow.
And they have the best barbecue and ribs that you ever had. Sometimes I wake up like drooling about it. Like I'm thinking about it in my sleep, and it wakes me up. That I need to go there. So the joint's really great. We have a really quaint little restaurant, very funky New Orleans style, right here by the B&B called Elizabeth's Restaurant, and they have real typical New Orleans food. Probably my favorite dish there is between the fried green tomatoes with hollandaise, or they do this salad with fried oysters and hollandaise that I really love too. But their Bloody Marys are a work of art, and their signature appetizer is praline bacon. That's right, candied bacon.
Wow.
So if I'm ever mad at you, bring me the candied bacon, and then we'll talk afterwards.
Wow. So, is there anything that you want to tell our listeners that you're going to be advertising coming up, other than the Halloween, that you would like the listeners to know about?
Oh, well, the reopening of the Backyard Ballroom Theater, where we will be doing our new show, Nola After Dark, and the opening of Ile Ashe Botanica. That's a spiritual supply store and a place to come and get readings and natural products. I'm growing and tincturing sedative herbs for all you nervous people, and especially menopausal women. Come get your medicine. Other people are alive today because I take these herbs.
Oh, wow. What about...
hey, hold up now.
Oh,
I just want to know, what herbs was that again?
Ile Ashe. Ile means, it's a Yoruban word. It means, Ile means house, and Ashe means power, specifically spiritual power.
Awesome.
yeah. When I think what caught his ear sight is that he likes to make fun of menopause, and he likes to direct it towards me. So when you said menopause, he thought of, I guess, a way of getting back at me in a more joking manner. But I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with women that go into menopause.
So it's like herbs that help with those symptoms, and maybe he won't tease you so much.
Yeah, I just think he did.
I could paint the word menopause on a stick and just hand it to you.
Oh, man. I'm outnumbered here.
I thought that was totally awesome. And what about mandrake root?
Which root?
Mandrake root?
Mandrake?
Yes.
Mandrake is really hard to come by. It's almost extinct in the wild. They're growing it in India, but they're growing it for the fruit.
Right.
I will try to find some quality mandrake root, but at this moment, the Botanica is not stocked. We have to do the construction on the front of the building before we can get our license.
Right.
So that should be done in about 2 months. And then I will most certainly stock mandrake root if I can find it. There's a lot of counterfeit stuff out there calling itself mandrake root, and it's not.
Right.
The safest way to do it is to grow it yourself, which is entirely possible, and that's how I grow that's how I obtain most of my herbs, is to just find a plant or a seed from a reputable source and grow it yourself. But unfortunately, mandrake root takes several years to be ready for harvest, but they can... Oops.
Yeah, because I managed to, I lucked out. I was able to get, I think I got 5 seeds. I had to get my mandrake seeds from Europe. I haven't tried to grow them yet, but I just waiting for the right opportunity where I'm going to see if I can, take a turn at trying growing my own mandrake.
Well, I hear they make wonderful fruits, and I'd be really excited if you brought me a couple mandrake seeds, and I'll trade you for something really cool.
Well, I'll keep that in mind. Like I said, I have mine here. Like I said, I managed to get them from Europe, and I've been just pondering if I should plant them or not. But sure, I'm up for a trade.
Cool.
Okay.
Otter has the most amazing botanical garden here.
Awesome.
Okay, well, we're running out of time here. We'd like to thank y'all for joining us, and when this is over, we'll send you the appropriate links.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thanks, and enjoy the thunderstorm, ladies.
I hope your AC comes back on.
Well, I think our power's back on now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Awesome.
Y'all have a good rest of your day. Thank you very much.
Take care, guys. Thanks a lot.
Bye. Okay, so that was Otter and Willow from New Orleans. Seem like they're pretty awesome, huh?
We were very blessed to have them joining us, and again, it was Willow Le Mechant and Otter Campbell, and they are part of Dark Nola Paranormal, also Black Rose Tours, and Otto's Airbnb, an amazing haunted location. And as well, check out the YouTube channel for Dark Nola Paranormal. They're going to have some awesome Halloween investigations. One is a 3-hour and the other 2 are overnight. So can you imagine spending Halloween in New Orleans in a haunted location? Nothing better than that, folks. Take care.
So we'll keep you updated on what we come up with Otter as far as a horror/paranormal event in New Orleans. Y'all have a good one. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.